For those serious about the sport of fitness, now is the time to build strength, gymnastic skills, and improve your overall capacity. We have divisions for RX, intermediate, masters, and elite athletes. For more information, go to trainingthinktank.com.
So you went and saw a movie yesterday. It was 3 hours long.
I did not see the movie.
Oh, you didn't see the movie?
No,
She stayed home.
I ditched.
Oh, okay.
I had a call with someone at 7, and then it didn't even end up happening. So I was like, well, I'm going to miss the first bit anyways because I have a call. They left right as I went to, like, start the call, and it just, like, it ended up, the schedule is not working. So I was sitting there, and I was like, well, I could have gone with them.
Someone bailed on you?
Yeah, well, kind of. Schedules just ended up last minute not working, so it was fine. We just got rescheduled, but
I mean, you wouldn't have wanted to watch the movie anyhow. Now that you know.
I mean, I also was like, I was like getting sore, and I hadn't showered, and it was gonna be until like 10:15, and I was like, I want to go to bed.
Yeah,
so
no, I'm not sitting next to you if you haven't showered either. After
Yeah,
a long day of training.
We went to a different row.
I can't do the 3 hour movies anymore. How about you guys?
I mean, maybe if I was in my own home. But at a theater, maybe not.
I couldn't do that in my own home. Well, part of it is I have 3 kids, so there's no watching
really?
anything. Yeah,
I did not know that.
Yes,
that's
I
funny.
do. But even if I didn't have kids, I think Chris, you and I are on the same page. Like, there's just I can't sit still for 3 hours. I feel like I need to go
3
do
hours
something.
Is a lot. Like it almost like makes me like nauseous to think about like the time commitment for 3 hours because you don't know if it's gonna suck.
He just has commitment
Yeah,
issues.
exactly. I don't want to commit to anything. Oh man.
I don't know. I feel like it has to be a great movie for me to be like in like, I don't know, maybe it's just ADHD. If it's like not keeping me entertained for 3 hours straight, like that has to be a good movie.
Well, so
what is the last good movie that you guys have seen?
We saw the new Creed, and it
Creed
was really,
3?
Creed 3 was good.
Yeah, I heard no Rockies in there.
No,
Do you even know what Rocky is, man? You're 19.
I did. Watch,
youngin'.
I know. Yes, I have seen some of the Rockies.
Hum the song.
No,
Oh gosh, is it because you don't want to do it or because you don't know it?
because I'd mess it up. Because I know.
I'll start you off. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, you got it.
Yeah,
You got it.
okay. It just took me a minute. I was like, I'm on the spot.
Well, so before we started, we were talking about when we'd go see movies. Like that's what we'd do when we were growing up. It was like you go to movies and then you hit up the Chili's.
Yes.
That's not how it was for you, huh?
No, we would go to the movies and then we would go to East Side Mario's. It's not a chain, also, I don't think.
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah. Is that a Canadian chain?
I actually don't know because there was only one on our island. I don't know if
Maybe there was a
like,
West Side Mario's.
There might have been East Side Mario's everywhere, and I just didn't know as a kid. But we used to go to East Side Mario's, and they had little coloring book menus. And
Nice.
that's
What kind of
where
food?
I think it was either East Side Mario's or Cora's we would go to. It was like breakfast.
Oh, now we're changing.
Yeah.
But it was like either.
Completely flipped on us here.
Well, I was like, I'm like recalling my
Hold on.
like
So your
7-year-old
childhood
memories.
was like going to a movie and then going and getting breakfast?
Like, but it was like afternoon. I think
I love that.
Oh no, East Side Mario's was like Italian, like
I was gonna say
spaghetti.
Mario's
Italian.
sounds
It was
like an Italian place.
I was like having too many memories. I was like, wait, that's breakfast. That's Cora's. I was like, where did I go?
Yeah.
No, it's like I would get like spaghetti.
So your coach, Max el-hag, he calls Mario from the video games. Do you know what video games are? Do you know who Mario is?
I do.
I'm starting to feel my age. Are you too, Brandon? Like you'll talk
yeah.
to these young kids and like they're
Mario's
like, huh?
been around forever.
I
She
know,
just
but
looked at me
sometimes-
and said, "You have 3 kids."
Well, but that's also because you look 16.
Well, I'll take the compliment.
Do you call him Mario or Mario? Because your coach calls him Mario.
Mario and Luigi.
Max also says strength, and he says tournament, like that.
Tournament.
Have you ever heard him say
Yeah,
it? Yes,
I've heard
it's a
him say
very
it.
strange.
Oh my god, that's funny.
It's that New York accent.
But
coming
I
out.
always make fun of him for the Mario one because like when you turn on the game, he says, "It's a me, Mario." He doesn't say
That's really
Mario.
good. It's me, Mario.
Well, as everyone already knows, we have Anikha Greer on the podcast today. So welcome. She's here in town for a few days as we do our semifinal simulation.
She just beat Noah Ohlsen in a workout.
First time for everything.
Oh man,
Was
it was a wonderful. I was judging Noah, and the whole time he's like telling me, he's like, "I'm gonna catch up to her. I'm gonna
He
catch
said
up to
it
her."
to me at one
I know,
point.
and then he started talking trash to you in the middle of the workout.
I just started smiling. I was like, okay,
For the
buddy.
audience, because it won't be up on YouTube when we post this, but for the audience, what was the workout?
The workout started with 50 crossover double unders, advance every 10, which is actually a lot easier because you only have to do 10 at a time.
Yeah, I
it's
agree.
not actually 50. And then we did 50 weighted pistols alternating. 10, again, move forward every 10 with a 35.
Was there a specific way you had to hold those?
They said anyway, but there's a couple people that had mentioned in past at like regionals/games it was mandatory front rack, so I held it in front of me.
Nice.
But I probably would have put it on my back if I could. If I mean, I would rather do it that way, so I did it the harder way just in practice.
See,
Yeah.
I like that.
I actually like it out in front of me, but that's because my ankles aren't great, so it like counterbalances
Yeah.
me. You know, like I can sit back more. But it's obviously hard on your shoulders.
My ankles aren't great either, but I feel like on my back I can hitch more. Like you can't
Yeah.
lean forward. You have to be so upright
Right.
with the.
Sorry,
like,
I think I
in front of you.
interrupted the workout. Did we finish the workout?
Yeah,
No,
we
we
all
didn't.
have ADHD. This is bad.
It's okay, but I remembered. Finish the workout.
50 crosses, 50 pistols, weighted 35, 50-pound dumbbell.
50 hang snatch.
50 hang snatches again, move forward, double dumbbell hang snatches, move forward every 10, 100-foot double overhead lunge, and then 200-foot handstand walk, mandatory 50-foot unbroken segments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you got out ahead pretty quick.
Yeah, the dubs we've been practicing those like fairly consistently. I started trying to learn them, like even just after the games last year. Like when I saw them come out, I was like, well, we may as well play around with these. So I have been kind of working on them for a while. It was one of those things where I was like, this looks stupid. May as well learn how to do
Yeah.
it, you know? Like
you have to now in the sport
That's
because you
what I
never
mean.
know if they'll come
Yeah.
back out. And obviously it helps with singles in quarterfinals. And
Yes.
then now, moving forward, they'll probably be doubles in semifinals.
I'm sure, you know what I mean? Yeah, or at least the games, you know?
Yeah.
So I've been playing with them for a bit, and they've been feeling fairly consistent. So I was happy that I was able to do each 10 unbroken. You can't really do them quickly as long as it's kind of like a mistake management thing. So, but that one, it only took like even whoever got off last on the doubles, it's not like you won the workout there by any means.
For sure. I mean, most of it came down to the lunge and the handstand walk. There are people that passed, they were behind the entire workout, and then because maybe you tripped or you fell on the first 50 feet, you'd have to come all the way back.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
having good handstand walk endurance and being able to do 50 feet unbroken plays a huge role in that.
Yeah, majorly.
So what was your time on the workout, just so that people can do it and see if they can beat you? If you don't remember,
know.
it was like
Maybe
10 something
it
or
was
11
10
something. I don't know. You were flying
I
through.
know.
Noah was 12 something. So
Coming to a YouTube near you.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll have
Yeah,
the
it'll be up
workout
at
out.
some
Do you
point.
have the? Oh, cool. Okay.
It'll just probably be a long time.
Yeah.
I got a lot of videos to make right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, I bet. I feel like it was I thought maybe it was in the 11. I didn't think it was
maybe
10
it was 11.
something, but
I don't
somewhere
know.
around
You
that
beat
range.
everyone, so
Yeah.
congratulations on that. We'll see. If people do it, do the weighted pistols because that definitely changed the game.
Yes, absolutely.
It was funny because everyone looked really good on like the first 10 or 15 reps,
Yeah.
and then you could tell like either backs. I don't know. Was your back that blew
My
up?
back was the
That's what it looked like.
only thing that
Yeah.
was stopping me on the. It was really. Yesterday we did the sandbags, and Noah and I deadlifted at the end of the day yesterday. Not wildly heavy, but like touch and go reps, which
Just a lot of posterior chain work.
Jacks up my low back, and I find squatting and pulling together, my low back will sometimes seize. It'll get super tight, and I felt that start on the pistols, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, good. We're so early into this workout. But the snatches, the only thing that was really slowing me down, like shoulders were definitely fatigued, but for the most part, it was my low back was on fire.
Yeah, you could tell as people got through it, especially with
Yeah.
pistols. I feel like even if it's unweighted, if you're going fast, sometimes backs blow up, but then you
Yes,
start
yeah.
weighting it in front, and now you are trying to stay upright.
There's
and
so
it's tough.
much like rounding, and then and I tried to manage my back on the snatches, because on the lunges you have to be so hyperextended that I didn't want to get to the lunges and be just like smoked, right? So I broke those up probably more than I anticipated or wanted to, but I was able to stay over the dumbbells and not take a huge break, so it ended up working out fine.
So we have 3 more workouts. I'm sure we'll have those videos up too at some point as well.
We'll see.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe after the games.
But let's take a rewind in time and talk about how you got into the sport, because you've been doing it for a few years now, and you're still young. Chris alluded to that. You're 19. And when did you start the sport?
I started CrossFit when I was 13.
Wow.
But I didn't actually know it was a sport. I thought I was a gymnast. Kind of. I was a gymnast. I wasn't very good though. Like I feel like, a lot of, like Alexis was a gymnast, and I know she was very good.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, like Carrie Pierce was a collegiate gymnast. There's a lot of CrossFit Games athletes that were high level gymnasts. I did gymnastics. I was not like excellent by any means, but it definitely helped with a lot of body awareness stuff.
So that was 2017-ish?
Yes. Yeah, it was 2017.
So what, you went from doing gymnastics to you were like in a CrossFit gym and you started doing it, or you're just doing CrossFit stuff at home? Like where did that start?
It's funny because where I'm from, PEI in Canada, it's so small. We're like 10 years behind the world in every regard, So like CrossFit wasn't a thing. Like I had no idea what it was. Yeah. My main sport growing up and as like a teenager was show jumping with horses. So that was my whole life.
Wow.
And that gymnastics was always kind of like on the back burner for horses and riding. But
Tell them your horse's name.
Oh, my first pony, her name was Minnie. Minnie. I still have Minnie, actually. She's
awesome.
she's
Did you see her face light up?
I
know.
just love, yeah, she was the best. And then when my like Grand Prix, my nice show jumper, her name was Fergie.
So how do you even get into that sport? Because I've heard
That
this
didn't
before.
phase Brandon at all.
He was like, normal name.
Well, yeah, it's not all the same.
Her
right?
freaking Fergalicious, though.
Yeah, Fergalicious. Yep. Getting into that, it was kind of funny. Typically in that kind of like sport, it's a family thing because it's a very wealthy sport. It's like golf.
Yeah, you don't just
like,
find horses.
You don't just start. You don't just sign up and start. It's not like soccer. You throw your kids in it. Like it is a very wealthy sport, and typically you do it through your family. Like all of the kids I competed against were so wealthy, and like their families owned barns. Their mom rode their whole life, like competed. Me, on the other hand, my parents had never been around horses, but my first word was like pony. I was just obsessed with them. Like I loved them. I was 3 when I started.
My daughter loves unicorns. They have those. Do they have those in Prince Edward?
No, unfortunately not. Not unless you glue a horn to their head, which I have done for Halloween before. But even just like when we would drive down the road and I'd see horses on the side of the road, I'd always go, what's like, I'd like mouth something and my mom, pony. And then I ended up just started saying it. She was like, this is ridiculous. We need to get this kid around horses. Like, this is just, I can't take it anymore. She's so annoying.
That's so cool. They gave you the opportunity.
It is. I was very lucky, very fortunate. I'm an only child. My parents are only children. It's like a very small, it's just us, and living where we did, it's not, PEI is not a wildly expensive place to live. Not a ton of people, not a huge.
What does PEI stand for? Is that a word?
I know I say it like PEI, but it's Prince Edward Island.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But,
shout out Prince.
Hey, but we're going to say PEI the whole entire time, okay, Chris?
PEI. You shut up, Prince Edward. My dude. But I got very fortunate. Both my parents have PhDs. They had good jobs. I was very lucky that I was able to do that. I know a lot of people aren't, especially in a sport like that. So I'm very fortunate. I had a very good childhood in that sense.
So what, did they take you to a specific place that's teaching that? Or like I still don't, because that actually is big around here, believe it or not. I don't know.
Oh,
Do you know this?
Georgia and Florida, horse country.
Yeah. I grew up in horse country in Florida, but I didn't know that was the case here.
Yeah.
But like where we live in Canton, which is like 20 minutes from here, 30 minutes from here, tons of people have horses.
yeah.
and
Well, just
do it
down
for
the
show.
street, there's like a equestrian
Yeah,
park.
there is.
Like where you would normally go in like any normal like suburb or city, there'd be like a park like that you just go run or jog at. Well, this one just has horses.
Yeah.
Like what?
But it's still like a normal, I don't want to say normal person, but someone that's just like kind of their day-to-day life. You don't really get into that world.
No,
so like obviously you have that connection where you loved horses, your parents take you somewhere, but how do they even find a place?
So
and then
they did some digging. Again, the beauty of PEI is everybody knows everybody. So it's kind of, they found someone that knew this place that would be kind of crazy enough to stick a 3-year-old on a horse, So I started going
Whoa,
for lessons.
3?
I was 3.
oh my God.
Actually, I'm
Whoa.
sure I can find pictures after.
Yes,
of
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I see those.
I have a little pink ducky bike helmet, and like I'm just like I'm 5'2" now.
Oh, you were
so
one of those
how tiny I was at
one of those
3.
nerds with the helmet, huh?
Hey, you gotta wear a helmet, but you trying to
kidding.
get
Yeah,
concussed?
3, of course.
Absolutely.
You sticking your 3-year-old on a 1,000-pound animal, no helmet?
Yeah, no,
He's
Could
zero
you
chance.
imagine doing that with your
She gotta
kid?
look cool.
Well, my sister-in-law, they have 4 or 5 horses, so they actually do
gosh.
it all the time.
Yeah.
But they love it too. But
Oh, yeah.
I'm terrified when so my daughter's almost 5, and then
Mm-hmm.
I have a 3-year-old and a newborn, and having them on there, to your point, they're giant animals. They're so
and
big.
so unpredictable.
Exactly.
And oftentimes mean. No, that's not true.
Hold on, did
but-
you ever get where you were running like they were running fast? Or that's not what you did?
Yeah, like I jumped. Like I did like full like courses with also
Yeah.
I can like show some pictures and videos.
Because like when I
eventually,
see people like just riding, like chilling, like going like 0 miles an hour on a horse, I'm like, I want no part of that. But when you watch like a movie and they're like trotting along, I'm like, okay,
I
that
mean,
seems cool.
So there's Western and then there's English. Western is the Yellowstone cowboy, huge saddles, lasso-y type. That
Okay.
stuff, that was not what I did.
Yeah.
Mine was the more pretentious.
Yeah.
Good way to
It's
explain
the
it.
ones that you like see it. Have you ever watched the Olympics in equestrian? They're going over the big jumps and there's like a specific pattern they have to do, and it's try not to hit the poles, and it's the fastest person. That's what I did. Yeah, that's the style of stuff I did.
Still impressive, nonetheless. More impressive.
Yeah,
to be able to control the horse.
It's insane. There's so many it's so technical. It is actually ridiculous. It's a whole,
But like,
so
if the
many-
world was ending tomorrow and like we had to get a telegraph to like somewhere across the states, could you?
Somehow the internet has completely bogged down.
and cars and planes.
Could you ride
and
that horse?
boats.
Could you get the memo back to PEI?
You know what? I mean,
That would take a long time.
sure.
Yeah,
if
nice.
that horse could swim, then yes.
Nice. Oh yeah, you don't want to
There's a couple oceans we got to
drown.
We need a plane or a boat, something.
All right, back to
So
CrossFit.
yeah, so you were doing that,
Yeah.
and then you got into gymnastics after.
No, I did gymnastics like as a kinder, they
Sure.
threw me. That was one of the sports you could just kind of throw your kid
Yeah,
in,
yeah.
like see if they like it. I did, stepped away from it for a bit, came back when I was in like 5th grade, did that for a bit. But then I was always injured in gymnastics because I've never been flexible. I was mobile, but I was never flexible,
Yeah.
not bendy. I couldn't do the splits,
And you need to be.
And you need to be. So it was one of those things where I was always hurt. Like some tendon or ligament was always like I had 2 knee braces on. I had wrist braces. My wrists were always killing me. And my ankle was always messed up. Like I looked awful and I was 11. Like it was so bad.
What's wrong with this girl in the brace over there?
Like I looked like a car accident.
Yeah.
Like all I was missing was a neck brace. But my ankle was always the one that like really would just not go away. And I mean, gymnastics coaches, especially like probably better now as like more things have unfolded
Sure.
in that community. But back in, I say this, I'm 19. It was like 10 years ago, but
Still.
but like
Yeah.
back
Things have changed.
then, things have changed. Coaches were not the most empathetic or, kind of concerned. So
Yeah.
it was kind of like you're fine.
Right.
So anyways, eventually I finally got x-rays were fine. I finally got into an MRI and I chipped all the cartilage away between my tibia and some of those like foot bones.
Yeah, like the talus.
Yes. Yeah. Big anatomy guy over here. But the foot bones, some of those.
Yeah, some of those bones down
some
there.
of those bones down there. I had chipped away all the cartilage and I had actually started chipping at the bone. So there's nothing protecting that anymore.
At 11?
Yeah, at 11.
Wow.
So I had to have surgery, and they like picked away all the little pieces I kind of chipped off, put some fake cartilage in there, fixed. I haven't had ankle issues since. Only thing is it's a little stiffer on the
Right.
left side than the right. Totally fine, knock on wood. One joint that leaves me alone now. Like, got other ones.
Feel great.
but-
Those pistols are awesome.
Yeah, but anyways, after that, I kind of I knew you hit a point in gymnastics, which is funny, at 11. You kind of realize, like, if you're not at a certain level at this point, you're just not going to be.
Right.
And I had stopped loving it at a point because I was always in pain. I just knew I wasn't getting better. I was too competitive to just be stagnant. So I was like, I'm kind of done with this. I'm moving on. But I was in 6th grade at this point. I was like, I like being stronger than all the boys in my class. Like, we would always arm wrestle at recess and I would crush everybody. And I was like, this is fun. I want to still be strong. Like, I don't want to lose my strength. So I was like, I don't know what to do. And I had watched the movie. This is like one of my favorite stories, or I guess I tell this all the time. I'd watched the movie Spy Kids, I think. Or no, The Spy Next Door with Jackie Chan.
Okay.
Anyways, I loved it. I was like, this is sick. I want to be able to do this.
What was he doing in that?
What do you mean?
I don't think I've seen that movie.
Really? The Spy Next Door?
The Spy. I don't even know if I've heard of that movie.
Oh my God. You definitely would have.
Okay.
Maybe.
I've seen Rush Hour 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, those are
No,
great.
it's-
Now
it
that
was
is
like-
classic.
Those are classic. I have seen those, but it was more recent than that.
Okay, nice.
it'd be like-
I'll check it out.
2010, maybe 2009, but anyways, watched that and I was like, oh, I want to do like martial arts. Like, so I tried Taekwondo, went in for this intro at this little like garage basically. And it was a CrossFit gym too. So there was a CrossFit class on one side, did the Taekwondo intro on the other. And the guy that ran the intro was like, you're very strong. I always was like, had bigger legs, like when I was 11, I was tall for an 11-year-old. I was the same height I was now. It's a 5'2" 11-year-old. I was huge, but then it stopped. But anyway, so he was like, I think like you'd be pretty good at CrossFit. And I was like, what's CrossFit? I was kind of like eyeing the class in the corner, like, what are these fools doing? Like, he's like, I think you'd be really good at it. I was like, I have no idea what this is. Kind of explained it to me. And so he was like, why don't you come in on Saturday, try our teens class. Came in on Saturday. There was 3 other teens. Like, it was super tiny. Did like a workout of like ball slams, some running, and like I think it was handstand push-ups, but I could already do a handstand, so I was already like miles ahead of some of the teams. And he was like, how'd you like it? I was like, oh, I loved it. And I just like fell in love with it, kept coming back. Did the teens class like 3 times a week for like the first year and a half. Did the open in 2017, but was too young to sign up. I think I was 14 or 13, but you had to be 14
by a certain date.
and I wasn't, so I just couldn't sign up. I did it. And I we kept track of my scores. I wasn't doing anything other than like the classes at this point. Kept track of my scores.
Were the other kids in the class doing it too? They wanted to do the open, or they were just doing?
Some of them did, yeah. They were all older. I was the youngest one by far. They were all in high school. I was still in
you
like
still
junior
keep up
high.
with any of them?
They were. I think at this point I was better than most of them.
No. Do you keep up with them now?
Oh, I thought you meant
know
like keep
any of
up with
them?
them at workouts. I was like,
No.
I think at this point. So it's funny. I did actually talk to one of them the other day. Or not the other day, actually. I guess this would have been like 6 months ago now.
Yeah.
But I do keep up with maybe not the original crew. The thing with that teens class is that because they all did other sports, they would kind of cycle in and out. So there'd be like a crew that would come for a couple months.
Yeah.
They would leave. Some new people would
It's
come
like
in.
off season, in season.
Yeah, people would filter in and out. I was the only one that stayed. Like I had my ankle surgery while I started CrossFit. Like still came in with a boot. I was just like a 12-year-old.
That's cool.
Or 13-year-old with my boot doing ring dips. Like the coaches were all like, "Who is this kid?" I remember I got told this by the owners of the gym. Like after every class, I was always like, "How do you do a ring muscle up? How do you do a rope climb with your feet?" Because I could do leg lifts. I was like, "How do you do this? I want to learn how to do this." And they were like, "Go away."
Yeah. Leave us alone,
Like
please.
literally. But yeah. Kept track of my scores, ended up being like 40th, 42nd after I did the age group qualifiers too. And I was like, I just loved it. And I just learned like, oh, you can compete. That's awesome.
So at that point, did you know, like, I want to be competitive in the sport?
Yeah, absolutely. I was always competitive. And that's when the owners of the gym were kind of like, yo, like, do you want extra programming? Like, I'll like give you some stuff. Like, we'll kind of like monitor. They wanted to make sure I was going to do it right. They didn't want to they were really good about it in the sense where they didn't just like throw me into it and like, you're going to go to the games and you're going to be amazing and we're going to make you do 1 million workouts a day kind of thing, which I know has happened to a lot of teenagers. So we did it really well. Started getting
Did the
extra
taekwondo
programming.
end? Sorry, I forget. Did you, once you went over to CrossFit, was that a wrap on the taekwondo?
I did a single intro of taekwondo.
She did the intro
that
class.
Was it. That was it. My dreams.
You weren't dabbling in both?
Intro class, saw people swinging on the bars. Like, I want to do that over
looks
there.
more fun. Yeah, no, my dreams of being Jackie Chan were smushed for multiple reasons. But yeah, no, it is funny because the guy that did the intro also owned the CrossFit gym. Was a lawyer. He was like Superman. It was hilarious. He did everything.
Cool.
But yeah, it was really cool. So they kind of gave me some extra programming, started like doing extra workouts, was able to sign up for the Open the next year.
So what year is this?
This is now 2018.
2018, and you're 14
I'm 14
at the time. Okay.
Yeah. So I did the Open, came 10th in the Open, which was awesome because they took 20. So it was like, oh my God, like you're not like a shoe-in. But my initial thought was like, oh my God, I'm going to do it. And then I ended up coming 21st by 1 second. Oof. So I missed the games by 1 second because on one of the workouts, it was thrusters and rope climbs. There used to be a standard where you had to have your hand below a line before you let go of the rope. I had my hand on the duct tape and I let go. I didn't know how to descend yet. I was still very, like, my technique was not efficient, just kind of getting up and down however I could. I would just let go. And so I let go with my hand on the line. And then like a couple hours before the deadline, we're going over my videos and like, this is the first time any of us have done this. There's only 2 CrossFit gyms in PEI. It's not like there's competitive people around to like have experience. Anyways, but so yeah, we're looking at the video and we start to get kind of stressed. We're like, oh my God, do you see that? Like your hand's on the line. And so we're all kind of freaking out and they're like, you need to do the workout again. So like last minute, I go back. I've already done it twice. The second time, like had a mental breakdown, didn't do it. I was 14, like so much pressure, I had no mental toughness at this point. I was just like a little 14-year-old, honestly. Like, anyways, go do the workout again. I like stop after one rope climb because I was like, no, everything feels wrong. And I was just kind of had to leave, came back, did it. Was a full like 2 minutes slower, like way worse. But we submitted that score because we were like, well, we don't want to be those guys. Yeah. Like, it was the silliest thing ever. It's not even like I missed the top of the rope, right? Anyways, not an indicator of my fitness or skill level whatsoever, but we wanted to hold that standard. That was really important to us. So we submitted the slower score, and it was because of that slower score that I finished. Yeah, exactly.
Now, how did that feel knowing that you had a faster score, but it didn't count?
I mean, it crushed me for crushed me for multiple years. Yeah, it was probably one of the most painful things I had experienced in my life to that point. I had never had loss like that before. I remember talking about this like a couple years ago when I just aged up in a different podcast saying like I'd never lost a family member. I had never lost a pet. I hadn't gone through anything wildly difficult yet. I'd had bad coaches. I'd had tough parts of my life, but I had never lost something like that. So that was a very rough. That was a rough, yeah. That was
so what did you do then? Like, how did you stay motivated after being so close? Because I've seen it go both ways, right? Like, you have athletes that like it kind of like feeds them and that fire burns and then they continue to push. And then there's others that are just like, yeah, screw this, like, and give up like right away. Especially, I mean, at 14, it's hard to grasp and have perspective on, you have a long ways to go. Like, you have all these years to be really good at the sport.
Yeah, it was definitely very difficult. I do have to credit, like, my coach at the time, Brett, who owned my gym. He was very crucial in that. He was very good at keeping me looking at the big picture. I would not have been able to do that by myself. Absolutely not. So he was great for that, and he kept me kind of looking forward. It taught me how to be mentally tough. It taught me how to push myself in workouts. Before that, I had no pain tolerance.
Right.
I was not, like, I think a lot of people naturally are very good at, like there is a type of person that's good at CrossFit. You can see it, you know, they like that kind of like hurt. They like intensity. I was not that person, like, to an extent. I mean, in gymnastics, we used to cheat our conditioning. Like, you know, as soon as they weren't looking, we'd drop the like mat or something or stop jumping. Like, I was never like, yeah, I want to do conditioning. Like, you know, so I forced myself to, like, that, I guess, forced me to learn that, because it was like, what do you want more?
Right. And I feel like looking back though, you probably have taken more wins from that. Like, if you, let's say you qualify for the games, you're a teenager, you go there, you do well. What's the difference in motivation between, like, now you're hungry, you still want it, and even now, like, we can go through the rest of the career to this point. Like, you're still so young.
There's a lot more.
Yeah.
But that absolutely was the start of what made me mentally tough. Absolutely. And I am to this day. I mean, I was glad a couple of years after, and still right now, so glad I did not go. So glad. If I had gone in 2018, I would not have gone in 2019, and I probably would have given up then.
Yeah.
You know, because I've always had, I idealize things often. I still work on that, but I remember vividly being 14 and being like, I want to go to the games every year I'm eligible. Like, I want to be one, because I idolize people. Like,
who did you idolize? Like, who were the people that you looked up to when you first got into it? Like, how quickly did you start watching videos online and, like, learning the people?
Very quick. After 2017, when I decided I wanted to compete, is when so Devin Kim, who I'm pretty good friends with now. She's great. She's on the Invictus team, but she was one that went every year, podiumed, like, was incredible. Her, I mean, Haley, like, all of the girls that were just a little bit older than me, but had been every year. They were just so consistent. I wanted to be them so bad. There's one girl, her name was Nina Ladvenikova. She was from, she wasn't Icelandic, like Slovakia or something. Anyway, I thought she was awesome. And I always wanted to, I don't even know if she still does it.
So what, would you just be like creeping on YouTube
Literally,
and Instagram?
Would creep their Instagram so hard. I wanted to be them so bad. But I think I, like, idealized that so hard that I think if I did, like, I wanted to be that. And I think if I had gone in 2018, and I don't think, because in 2019 they cut it to 10. It used to be 20, then they made it 10. And I do not think, I would have been mentally tough enough. I wouldn't have gained any of those skills that I had gotten from missing it like that. I wouldn't have gone, and then I probably would have given up. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would have been, so I am very glad I did not go in 2018.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, in 2019, even with all of the mental toughness and all of the skills that I gained and maturity level I gained after that, I ended up hurting my elbow before the Open in 2019. Had to take 5 months basically of I didn't tear my UCL, it was snatching, but it was pretty bad. It was like probably a grade 1, like, it was not great. It took many, many months to be able to go overhead again. So that put a dent in my season for sure. I ended up coming 14th or 15th. So,
but they cut it to 10.
They cut it to 10.
So you miss out again by a couple spots.
Yeah, exactly. They also, I remember they had one workout. It was just rowing and bar facing burpees, and, like, two of the worst possible things you could have given me. And that was another reason, like, that workout was kind of one of the reasons it crushed me a bit. But again, really rough year. It was a year, it was a different pain than the first year, because it was like you just weren't good enough, you know, and that's a different kind of thing to swallow. So that was rough again.
So what are you doing in that time? Especially that's I think the hardest thing for most people is, like, realizing, like, I'm just not quite good enough at this point. Yeah, get that mic up.
Dang it, I feel so close.
I always try to sneak in and do that while you're talking, so it's just.
I know, but I just want I got to make it obvious.
I know.
Yeah. You just put your mouth to the mic, okay?
I think I might edit that out.
Sorry. Yeah, maybe.
What was that little voice?
I kind of liked it.
Thank you.
was so
Coming
funny.
to a realization, and I do this all the time in my golf game, where I realize that I'm just not that good.
Yeah.
But when that happens, you have to go back to the drawing board. So what did you do in 2019 where are you identifying the weaknesses that you have? You talked about like rowing and burpees. Like, I need to get better at these things, or whatever else it may be for you. Like, we can talk about those movements. Did you start working on those things, and were you still working with the same coaches in PEI?
Yeah, I was still working with the same coaches. They were with me through all of it. They were
Nice.
crucial in that whole stage of my life. Yeah, huge people in my life. But, I mean, we knew what my weaknesses were very early on.
What were those?
So I cleaned 185 when I was 13.
Shit.
Like, it's ridiculous. It's unnecessary. And it's actually stupid.
Unnecessary.
I also back squatted 325 when I was 15.
Wow.
Again, ridiculous. That's my PR back squat still. Let's make this clear. I have not.
Nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. But without
Solid depth,
training,
everything was good.
Oh yeah. I mean, we could pull up the video on my Instagram.
Dang,
It's still up there.
that makes
I
me
still
cry
got
a
some
little bit.
archive.
15, huh?
15. Yeah, that was when I'd injured my elbow, so I was doing more lower body
Right.
stuff. I have not squatted more than that, and that was 4 years ago. Like, it's not, so anyways, but completely unnecessary in the 14-15 division to be able to do that. Or I guess, in 2019, I aged up. I only got 1 year in the younger division
Right.
because of my birthday. So 2019, older, cut to 10, 15th, not good enough, just wasn't there. Yeah, I think that for me, I mean, we knew what my weaknesses were and we had been working on them. It was just like a slow progression.
Yeah.
They were getting better, but it wasn't an overnight fix. Like, we were so consistent. Like, I have never shied away from working on my weaknesses. It's one of my biggest strengths is I head first jump into that hole. Like, I will do what I am bad at every single day, and I actually get stressed. Maybe one of my weaknesses. I will get stressed if I don't have something I'm bad at that day. Like, if
feel like you're not working
oh
towards
my
a
god,
goal.
if Max puts handstand push-ups in a workout, I'm like, can I do burpees instead? Like,
Right.
genuinely.
I'm good at those.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I do credit that to the years as a teenager of just nailing my weaknesses all the time.
Yeah. So what were the things that you were working on most in 2019 going into 2020?
Just honestly still my aerobic capacity. I never played any running sports growing up. I did not play soccer. I didn't even play hockey, which is unusual for a Canadian kid, but I didn't play any sport that required endurance. So that was something that I think a lot of people, even if they weren't high level athletes that recreationally did
Right.
endurance-based sports had that I didn't. Like, a lot of people just run track in high school and they come in with something I had none of that.
So you had the strength, you had probably all the gymnastic skills,
Yeah.
right? Because you did that. You had a base of that at least.
Yeah, some of the gymnastic skills were harder. Like, the rings took me a while to learn because we don't do rings in female gymnastics. So stuff like that took me a little longer, but the gymnastics and the strength, no issue. But the
If it's rowing, burpees, if it's biking and running, those kind of things.
Yeah, even I remember one of the open workouts in 2018 was squat cleans and some other double unders and burpees or some cardio. I actually I didn't even have the aerobic capacity to earn my way to the heavyweights. I was really severely limited by my aerobic capacity. So that was just in all shapes and forms. We would do 40 to 60 minute workouts, just constantly just trying to get. So that was, what we had been doing for years. It was just kind of one of those things where it was almost more frustrating because it wasn't a new weakness that got exposed, now we can work on. We didn't know. It's we knew and we had been working on it. It was just a time thing. It was a patience.
Right.
Taught me a lot of patience,
Yeah.
and
it does take a long time to build a big aerobic base.
especially that young and with no prior experience. It was just patience. I just had to keep working, So I think that was also what got me through 2019 and thinking am I just never going to be good enough? Do I just not have that capacity? But luckily I had people in my corner to remind. I would go down those holes by myself, but
sure.
I had people in my corner reminding me and telling me no, you are special. You have the potential. If you can stay patient and if you can stay as determined and diligent as you are, then you will make it. You just have to trust and have faith. And that's something I've always struggled with, is just having faith.
Well, at that time, did you also have any I know you're young, so you don't have big life stress as far as holding a career down or a family or anything, but you can't just discredit whatever teens are going through. Did you have
teenagers?
Did you have anything like that?
Not easy.
It sucks.
Going
This is
on?
the worst. Yeah,
while you're trying to do all this?
Junior high and high school were terrible years for. The end of high school. High school was better than junior high, but I was in junior high for most of this, and it was awful. I was in a class with 4 girls and 22 boys, and I was tortured because I had muscles and I was different and it was awful.
Really? They were that picky? Like they didn't think it was cool?
No. I mean, maybe deep down, and that's probably why they picked on me, but like...
A little insecure. You were stronger than them.
Yeah, they all weighed 90 pounds soaking wet. Like, so yeah, I got severely picked on in junior high. Our class was also atrocious. We had the worst class in the whole school. Like they were just bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was lots of things going on outside of that were, but I mean, I had always...
Like what were you outside of CrossFit? So you did that, what kind of person were you back then?
What kind of person? What are you?
Who is you?
Who is you? I mean, I still had horses at the time, so I still was riding. I still was. This was a really challenging period in my life where I was trying to decide how to split my attention because I loved horse. I had a very nice like Grand Prix horse. I was very good at show jumping. Again, for my age, I was always the youngest, could have a very bright future in that sport. I mean, the thing is, though, is again, with riding, at a certain point, you have to be rich enough to get to the professional level, you have to have $100,000 worth horses.
Right.
And you have to go to Florida to compete in the winters because you can't just do nothing all winter. You have to... And that kind of money we didn't have. That kind of money was not, it's very different. That's a whole different class. So there was always that limiter for me. And if I was going to do riding professionally, I was going to have to do it the ground up way, which I had kind of done and I was fine with doing. We never bought nice horses. We built them, stuff like that, which I was fine doing, but it would require that to be my full-time job. That would have to be everything I did. And with CrossFit, as I started doing it, if I wanted to get to that level, it would have to be all I did.
Yeah.
Well, so the first time you came here, sorry, Brandon, the first time you came here, I remember it was when was that? It was for semifinals or quarterfinals, right?
I was here once before then.
Okay.
But I came in January before then.
Yeah.
And then, or December. And then for quarters, I was here too.
Right. Well, anyway, at quarterfinals, there was one workout where it was just all you. You were the only one going, so you got to pick the music. And you threw on some metal, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
Well, let's be clear. I was too nervous to put that on in case I was going to be severely judged. And so Brooks, he was like, "What do you want on?" I was like, "You know what I listen to," and he was like, "But I was like, I don't want to put it on." He's like, "I'll put it on." So
Yeah.
So always puts on the metal.
I didn't know this about you, but you're a big metalhead. So she puts on some metal. And anyway, where I'm going with that is, so at this point in your life with the horse people, are you into metal at this time? Are you blending in with the horse people?
Horse people, our pretentious horse people are not into metal.
That's what I'm saying. Were you clashing with that scene? Or?
I was. So it was more my parents that were more into, that's where I got exposed to rock. I mean, I was big Iron Maiden. I loved Led Zeppelin was where I was really into in junior high. I was big into Foreigner, Led Zeppelin. I still love ELO, Electric Light.
Oh,
love
hey,
them.
okay.
Oh, I love ELO. Yeah, Jeff Lynne's brilliant. Loved ELO at that point. I was more into alt stuff in junior high, and then I think as I got older, I progressively got into heavier kind of stuff.
Yeah. What do you have on? You had
Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh my gosh! Whatever song it was when you were going was just that
one is an aggressive five. I'm the one he put on too. I was like, Brooks, this was an aggressive choice. This was an aggressive choice. I'm not mad, but this was aggressive.
So basically, at this point in your life, you have the heavy metal scene, the horse scene, and the CrossFit scene that you have to choose from.
Yeah, I mean the heavy metal scene, that one's always there. That wasn't much of a choice.
You're living in that.
I was living. That was fine. But yeah, it was difficult for me to balance horses and CrossFit, especially because horses, it's not something you can just step out of.
So at what point did you make that call? When did you say okay, I'm all in on CrossFit?
Honestly, I didn't really. So I stopped kind of competing in 2019. It was after 2019 that I kind of. I mean, then COVID also happened, which kind of helped that decision. But it was 2019 where 2019 is the year that I stopped traveling. I mean, we would travel every weekend.
You have to, right? In that sport, yeah.
So 2019 was when I stopped doing that. I still kept my horse Fergie, who was the one that I competed on and did the big stuff with. She was incredible. This was also tough because she was young. My pony that I still have and still own, she was older. She was retired. It was fine. She could just be a pasture pet and live her best life. But Fergie was still young and she loved to work. And it was one of those things where it was I can't just leave you. And I also, because her and I had gone through, we had a terrible coach for a while, went through some stuff together. It's different than you really have a bond with those animals. It's I got her young. She was young when I got her. So she was very attached to me and I was very attached to her. So it was difficult for me to even imagine selling her or giving her to someone that could like show her and give her what she needed. So I held on to that as long as I could. You know, I would still go ride. My mom would get on her sometimes if I couldn't. Like my mom doesn't ride. She would just like try to do everything she could, you know, like it was definitely tough for a little bit to try to balance that. But not competing also means less diligent riding, so I could have more fun with it. So I shifted into the more fun side of riding. And just,
that's your hobby now, and CrossFit's your work.
Exactly. And I mean, Fergie still loved that, so it was okay. It was a nice balance. But 2020, we finally get to 2020, have been working on endurance. I come second in the age group qualifiers to Emma Carey, which was awesome because she, I mean, was like 9th in the open as an individual in 2020.
Yeah.
Like was wildly impressive. So impressive. Anyways, I came second to her. Was such a huge jump for me to go from not qualifying for 2 years to like being a podium contender.
You're realizing your work's paying off.
That was the first time I had actually felt like something had paid off, and I had been grinding for, I mean, it's really not that long, but for me as like a teenager, I was like, felt like forever. It's the longest I had gone without a reward. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so that was awesome. And then the day after we finished, COVID shut everything down.
Right.
We got locked in our houses. No celebration. I finished the workouts.
And Canada was pretty intense,
super
right?
strict.
And PEI was, so because we are an island, very easy to monitor. So we shut our bridge. We shut our airport. We're not like, we're just a little circle. We're like a little petri dish. There's nobody coming in, nobody coming out. And because there's only 2 ways to come in and out, they can monitor everybody who does. So they locked us in our houses before we even got a COVID case. It was kind of one of those things where it was like, we saw what was happening elsewhere and we shut down before it could get to us.
So what were you doing for CrossFit, for training? Were you just working out in your home?
So we had this garage. It was just storage. It was filled to the brim with just like recycling and just like garbage. Cleared everything out, redid the floors, like got horse mats, like again, because my coach at the time was the gym owner, got a ton of equipment. It was not insulated. It was winter. Also, it was March, which is still
freezing
winter.
cold.
Yeah, it's still snow on the ground, like tons. Anyway, so no insulation, not really any electricity. We had a little floor heater and like some mats. So I worked out in there.
Just throwing down in the cold.
Yeah, I don't remember the month of May. I do not know what I did. That was, everybody has some part of COVID where they were just a shell of a human being. And it was after the games got canceled. It was like April, May, start of June, because I don't remember my birthday. I know I was working out, and I do not know what else I did.
Yeah.
That is gone.
Was it hard to get yourself motivated to train like that?
I was in denial for a while that they were going to cancel the games. I was trying to be so optimistic because I was like, they can't. I have gone through 2 years. I was like, they can't. Like, there's just, this can't happen again. I was like, no. So I was training through it, and then they did. And then it was, I don't really remember.
Yeah, that was just such a brutal time for the sport in general.
So, yeah, there was so much going on, too, because that was when Glassman decided
the whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
What's crazy is that was 3 years ago now.
I know.
Like, it has gone by so fast, and things have changed now. I mean, Castro out, Bosman in, Glassman's gone.
So much, yeah. So that was a rough period. That was probably some of the roughest periods of my life, especially because we couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't see anyone. At the time, I was really close with some other teens in the CrossFit, in the like teen division, who I had planned to go visit and hang out with, and I couldn't, and I was crushed for a while.
Did you ever get the vid?
Did I ever what?
Did you ever get the vid?
Oh, yes, but not during lockdown. I got it the next year, like 2 days before Wadapalooza, which was my first individual competition of my entire life. In-person competition too. I got it the week before, and I had to drive because I couldn't fly.
Oh my goodness.
That was the whole thing, yeah. But it wasn't even during 2020. It was when everything opened up again.
Yeah.
And that was the issue with PEI, is because we closed down before we got it. We have a big elderly population, a lot of retirement homes. They were really nervous, rightly so. It could be super dangerous for an elderly, you know. So.
But it's the rebound effect. It's the next year, yeah.
But it's that, and it's also like, all right, cool, we shut down, but like, when are we going to open up again? So we got our vaccines, we opened up, and it was literally a back and forth for like a full year where we close, open, close, open. Yeah. And it was like, all right, like, we're going to get it. We got to just like, you know, so eventually things went back to normal, but it took Canada a while.
Right.
They couldn't decide what they wanted to do.
Yeah, it was well
like,
over
close,
a year,
open,
right?
Close, like, you know, like so.
What's crazy is here in Georgia, we were closed for what, Chris, maybe 2 weeks?
20 minutes?
Yeah. And it was basically, we kind of prepared like, hey, everyone's going to be training from home. Like, you can take equipment, whatever. summer. And then the next week, the governor of Georgia was like, hey, we're opening back
fine.
up.
Southern United States.
It's different. But, you know, it is
place.
crazy because the death rates were lower in many of the states that stayed open. It's
it was, there's so many things that played into that.
Yeah.
It was wild. What a wild time.
It was. So obviously you get through all of that and now we're on to 2021.
Yeah.
You now have, I assume, some confidence, right? Like, you know that you're good enough to be competitive, but now you're thinking about aging up into another division, right?
Yeah, kind of. I kind of had confidence because during the Open, like Emma, although I finished second to Emma in the age group, during the Open, she was like 9th as an individual. I was 600th in some.
Yeah.
I was not
good.
That's
still really good.
I mean,
especially when you're young.
As I'm starting to think more about like doing this professionally for the first time, I'm like, I truly did not think, I actually like went back into riding more heavily. This was my last year in high school now, 2021. I actually started riding more again because I was starting to think like you may not make that jump as quickly as some others have. Like I'm starting to kind of realize like, again, I still think you have, like I still believed I had a lot of potential, but I did not think I was going to make that jump to the individual division quite seamlessly. You know, I didn't think I was going to be a Haley or an Emma at this point, you know. Mal was coming back, like that kind of thing. I did not think I was there. And then they announced the new format with the semis and it was like, all right, my goal I had 0 followers on Instagram, there was just like nothing it wasn't like, there was not a whole lot going for me in that space at the time. So I was still training a ton, the same like fire and focus I always had, but I was like having fun with my friends outside of CrossFit. Like I was doing more normal things. I was riding more again because I was trying to mentally kind of prepare myself for like, all right, like, don't just shove yourself only in. Like I was 18, not even 17 at this. I'm not even 18 yet. I was 17. It was like, all right, like I don't think I'm going to make that jump quite yet. Like just kind of prepare yourself for that. Still work as hard as you can, but you know, so anyways, the Open comes around. I end up being 58th and I was like, oh my God. I was like, what? Like, this is crazy. I did not expect to do that well. And then we kind of start thinking like in the region, I was like 25th. They took 20 to the games and we're like, or sorry, not quite there yet, but after quarters, I did a little better again, was like 25th in North America. They took 20 and it was like, you're not far away. And there was a huge shift in my life from up to quarters and then post quarters.
Right.
Huge shift. Post quarters, then we were just all in again. Like it was like, there was like a light kind of at the end of the tunnel a little bit where it was like, I felt like I could just 100% give myself to that goal. Because before, it was, I mean, very scary as a 17-year-old. I was like, I'm not going to give myself entirely to this when I don't think I'm quite there yet, you know? So we went full in. Like I started really believing in myself then. Like there was a big shift mindset-wise. Still did not think I was going to make the game. So like deep down, like it was like, wow, like I'm really close. But if somebody was like, do you think you're going to make it? I was like, no, you know, like.
Why is that? Why did you feel that way?
I don't know. I mean, confidence has never been an easy thing for me. I think I also at this point have gotten into the habit of expecting things to go poorly. And it's still something I deal with and something that I think this year has gotten a lot, for a very specific reason, has gotten a lot better. But at the time, very much expected things to just go poorly.
Because they had gone poorly to that point?
Because if somebody's going to get the short end of the stick, it felt like it was going to be me. Like luck, I did not feel like was on my side. I felt like I needed to get lucky too, and I didn't feel lucky.
What has changed that for you?
This is something I've thought and written and talked about a lot recently, is that this year I'm very new. I am in a new country. I have a new coach. There's so many new things about me and my life this year that I can get out of my old thinking patterns. It's not like cheating, or it's kind of like, it is helping me though, because I'm not in the same place.
Yeah.
I'm not doing the same thing every year expecting a different result. So many things are new that it's made it easier for me to think differently and think newer, I guess.
You've had that paradigm shift.
Yeah, there's almost everything changed in my life. Like,
right. Did you do that intentionally? Did you feel like I just need a change, or did this just happenstance?
It wasn't. That's not why I made the change. It's not why I moved. That's not what my thought process was. But as I am now in this new phase, I'm realizing how much easier or how much more successful I have gotten at changing my mindset, because I don't feel like I'm like stuck, I guess, or I don't feel like everything is so new. It's easier for me to think differently, which is fantastic and not something I had thought about until I've kind of been in this in new kind of scenario and situation in life phase.
So how did you get connected with Max? Because he's coaching you now, and I want to talk about the training and how that looks different than what you've done in the past. But like, where did that start?
Well, hold on. Before you say that, did you move to Miami first or after you jumped on with Max?
Kind of in the process, but yeah, 2021 again, semis, I came 6th, so I missed it by 1 spot again. Yeah, so that was the end of 2021 to finish that guy. But yeah, so what was the question? When I last started with Max?
Yeah, when I started? Yeah, how did you get connected with Max?
So I had met Noah at Wodapalooza in 2021 after the last semis, and I had really liked him. Then 2022, I had that quarterfinals fiasco, right? Score didn't go in, was a game's potential hopeful, all went down the drain, didn't even get to go to semis. So after quarters.
Wait, when you met Noah, did you like hang out, or are you just like, hey, I'm Anikha, I'm Noah? Like, or did y'all have
didn't really hang out, but I was at peak before Wodapalooza and had spent a little time with him and was just kind of like, this guy's really cool. Like, and I loved the gym.
So you stopped in, trained.
Yeah, I also just loved the Miami. I had the best time there. Like I was like, wow, this gym is great. The energy is
a little
awesome.
different than where you grew up, right?
A little different.
So different, right? So
Shout out Prince Edward.
Shout out Prince Edward. But it was just, I was like, oh, I had a great time there. This gym is awesome. Like, this is really cool. Like, I would just come back and visit here, you know? Like, it's just, what a great environment to be around. I felt so energized, which I think is a big thing that I did not have at home. I was alone.
It's easy to be energized around Noah.
Oh my God.
He's got energy levels that are through the roof.
And that is, I mean, even in Miami is a very energetic city
true.
in general. You're just, there's very few days where I'm like, you know, like I'm very energized there, which is, again, one of the biggest changes I've had from being in Canada, where I have very severe seasonal affective disorder. I am super depressed for all of the winter, which is 9 months long. You know, like
that's 9 months too long.
That is,
man, I agree.
yeah. So it's right, and I was completely alone. My 2 training partners was my mom and my best friend. My mom is a beast, and so is my best friend, but it's very different. Yeah. So and that was it. And it was a dark gym, and it was cold, and that was it, you know? So it was rough. I really learned how to push myself and how to get through things. Like there's a lot of skills I have and a lot of toughness I have from that, but it was not sustainable. Yeah.
It makes it easier when it's 80 degrees and sunny every day.
Absolutely. And I'm so much happier. That was a big thing for me too, is I needed to be happy. I was not happy for a while. So that was a big shift. But yeah, kind of visiting Noah, visiting Miami, and being like, wow, this place is great. I love it here. I think at that time, one of my biggest struggles was trying to be happy in that kind of phase of my life, 2021-ish. And I was so happy there. And I just remembered that feeling. I also kept in touch with, actually not at this point, Noah. I think I was still kind of like, not like scared of Noah, but I was like, he's too important for me. I was like, he doesn't know who I am. Like, I can't talk to Noah. But anyways, I kept in touch with some of the other people that had trained there, because they have a group that do Mayhem and are like semi-final level in South America. They're really cool. Anyways, I kept in touch with some of them after quarters. I remember I talked to one of the guys about like, I've never been this miserable in my whole life. Like, it was, again, the 2018, 2019, 20, like the 4th year where something had just crushed me. I was like, I was so miserable. I was like, I need to do something. Like, I cannot live here anymore. I cannot sit here. Like, I need to do something. He was like, just come visit. Like, just come to Miami. And it was kind of scary, because I was like, okay, I guess I'll just go and visit, like, alone, you know? Like, I haven't traveled alone very much yet. I was still 17 at this point, maybe 18. Yeah.
What was that conversation like with your parents? Were they like cool, completely on board with you going down? Yeah.
Yeah, they were. I mean, they have gotten crushed with me every year.
Yeah.
I have the best parents also. They're
awesome.
The absolute
You got a
best.
mom tattoo right there.
I do have a mom.
Do you?
And
Let me see.
this is my mom tattoo.
Oh, that's awesome.
And this is matching with my dad. It's an Ankh, because what I'm named after.
Does he have it on the same spot?
He has it on his forearm, yeah.
Nice.
Anyways, love my parents, but they get crushed with me every year, and they would have done anything to take that pain away from me, you know?
Yeah.
So they also knew. They were so my dad's a university professor. My mom's a psychologist. They both are psychologists. And I'm an only child. Just let that sit
Come
for
sit
a
on
minute.
the couch. Let's talk to you.
Just let that simmer.
Oh my
but
God.
anyways, they've always been like very intellectual, and they've always pushed me being able to do this professionally, which is so incredible, because most people are like, wouldn't they want you to go to school and do normal things?
Right.
But no, they've always been. My dad, the professor, pushed me taking a year out, like not going to university, which is hilarious. But anyways, they've always pushed me being able to, or not pushed, but supported
Sure.
me being able to do this professionally. And they knew how miserable I was. Like, they've always known how much I've struggled with that and how awful, like how just miserable I was training a lot of the time, and how so they see it. They go through it with me, you know, especially being an only child. So they would have done anything for me to be happy and fine, you know. So at this point too, I'm also thinking about, I want to train with other people. I need to find somewhere to move, but I didn't want to leave the coach I had at this time. So I kind of told them, like, hey, like, I might go visit like Miami again they had been there with me during Wadapalooza. I was like, I might go visit again just to like train with some people and just to like see some sunlight again and be happy. And they were like, go, you know? Right. So I went for a week. I was there for a day, and I texted Cooper, my agent, and I was like, I want to move here. I was like, I need to live here.
You knew right away.
I knew right away. And at this point, I wasn't even planning on having the same coach as Noah, but even just training with like the group they had down there, I was like, oh my God, I could get so much fitter just by being pushed by them. And also, I was just so happy. I was so much happier.
And that plays such a big role with training. Like, even if you're crushing your training, if you wake up and you're miserable, it's really hard to get focused and like have intent when you go into the gym.
Yeah. Waking up every morning, I have very vivid memories from like parts of that where you wake up with such dread.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's not even that I didn't like training. It wasn't even that I was burnt out from training. I was just so miserable. So it was like, I want to get out of that as much as I can. So I started thinking about that. Once I got home, I actually felt more energized and able to make plans moving forward. Because for a while, I didn't know how to make plans to move forward. I didn't know what to do. I was like, what is the next step? Every other year, it's been well, this happened, so here's how we fix it, and this is how we progress. And this time it was like,
what do I do?
What do I do? Am I done? Like, I was like, is this that was really rough. So that was kind of the turning point of me being able to move forward again. So I got back, started making plans for off-season competitions, went to CanWest, won CanWest, was able to go to Rogue in Madrid, kind of started kicking that off. That kind of also started working with a lawyer to help immigration, and like was able to just start moving forward and living my life again. So that trip it was May when I went last May, almost a year ago. And that trip was kind of what allowed me to be able to start living my life again, which was huge.
Yeah. So at what point did you get connected with Max during that whole process and then start actually doing and following his training?
Yeah. So after Rogue, I got hurt for a long time.
Yeah.
I still don't know what it was. It was my spine. I think it was just a ligament issue in my spine, but we did every scan and test, and we saw every kind of doctor you could possibly see, and still nothing showed up.
That happened at Rogue or beforehand?
It's really hard to say because there was never one thing that hurt it. I remember running before Rogue and having my cross-country coach poke me in the back to like get me to like pull my shoulder blades back. And I remember being like, ow, why did that hurt so bad?
Right.
Like, it hurt to the touch. And I was like, weird. Just a little memory I have where it kind of thinking back, I'm like, oh,
there was something going on already.
There was something going on already. I think we had also at Madrid, there was one of the reasons I did not do as well as I could have at Madrid was that there was a yoke workout. I've never used a yoke before. I had never touched one. Set it up wrong, had it dragging on the floor, ruined my workout. Yeah. So before Rogue, we're thinking like, oh, Rogue, big, heavy things, have to train yoke. There was no yoke at Rogue. So we did like a very quick yoke progression, got up to like a 500-pound yoke, was able to move it really well. I was like, oh, you're pretty good at this now. Like, nice, you have that down. But I think in hindsight, little too quick.
Yeah.
That was a lot of loading on, I'm 140 pounds, I'm 5'2", and I was carrying a 500-pound yoke like twice a week.
Yeah.
It was
That's
a
the
lot.
tough thing about the sport though, is you need to be prepared for it, but it's also like, well, how do you balance making sure that you're prepared well, where you're not also injuring yourself when you have short deadlines?
Yeah. It was just a lot. I think, that's the thing. It was just a short deadline. And I mean, my anxiety also played into it, is that I would get stressed about, again, not doing things. I didn't listen super well. It was the relationship I had with this coach at this point. We were so close that it was almost hard to just listen sometimes, because it was like my brother. You know, you don't listen to your brother.
Like, oh, whatever.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, and at this point, I also know enough about training that I make valid enough arguments that it's hard to argue with me sometimes. So you just kind of were like, Jesus, just do it what you want, you know? So a lot of it was kind of a give and take. I think that is kind of what started it. then after Rogue, I remember I had kind of started trying to, I was taped up at Rogue. I think I was like, my ribs felt stiff because I look at pictures and I'm like, oh, right, I got taped. And I was I don't remember exactly why I had gotten taped, but I know something was just feeling off in my upper back. Anyways, get home. I didn't want to take a ton of time off. I wanted to kind of keep rolling through training. Started trying to work out again. And I was like, I remember I was testing a workout for somebody to do like a local comp and I couldn't hold 2 dumbbells over my head. I was like, wow, I am stiff. Figured it was just time off, and I had just kind of like the plane ride, really heavy, like comp, like I'm just stiff. And it wasn't getting better, but it wasn't severe enough that I was debilitated. Like I wasn't, so I kept trying to do things.
That's like the worst spot to be, by the way, because you don't take action on it right away. Yes. Instead, you just let it like simmer.
So that's what I did is I kept trying to do things and then it would be like, I would warm it up. I'd feel okay. I'd do it anyways. I could push through it. And then that night I couldn't sit anywhere comfortably. I'd be like sideways on the couch, like laying with my feet. I was upside down, like just trying to sit anywhere comfortably, and everything was uncomfortable. Such a strange pain too. It was so localized.
Right.
You could touch it and I'd be like, ugh. And got an MRI, literally nothing. I thought I slipped a disc or something. That was like the best guess we had, it was a slip disc because my ribs kept like getting stuck. So I would like pop my ribs and it just seemed like a disc and it wasn't. Kept doing that for like literally a month where I would try something that evening and it got worse and worse. And then finally at this point, so my boyfriend Alex was I'd met him at Madrid. He was moving to Miami as well because he does Noah's content, which is just a great coincidence. He had decided to move before we even met. Worked out lovely, but I was going to help him move first and then I was moving later. So anyways,
Speak of the devil.
Is he literally right there? Oh, no,
Yeah.
that's Noah.
The devil? Hi.
Nah. Hi, buddy.
It's Noah Ohlsen.
Things around me.
Yeah.
Dang it, I'm out of here.
Talking about how awesome you are.
Are you leaving? Forever?
Focus.
This was us every day. But anyways, it was like before Christmas, I've been like I've taken a bigger step back off CrossFit. I was like, okay, I can't do CrossFit. Let's see if I can still do endurance. That's like, I'm good at CrossFit. Like I'll just run and do rowing and biking. And even then, I think breathing heavy like I would bike and even breathing heavy would hurt it, cause it was trying to remember what it was called. It's honestly smack in the middle. It was like T6, 7, 8. So it was like right in the middle of my back, not lower, not upper, just like smack in the middle. So a strict pull-up hurt and I couldn't I couldn't do anything. I couldn't run and I couldn't do a strict pull-up. It's like there was no...
How frustrated are you at this point? Because now in December, you're getting close to the season. You're thinking about, this is another year with the Open and quarterfinals, semifinals.
I was terrified. I was petrified. And I remember it was right before I left to go help Alex move. I was flying to Kansas City. And I was just doing zone 2 at this point. I've backed off even more and done like less. And I remember I had gotten like there and we were kind of talking. I was getting so frustrated. And he finally just told me, he's like, just stop moving. Like literally just stop. Take 2 weeks and do nothing. And I'm so bad at that. Cause I, again, like as we talked about earlier, like high anxiety, if I'm not doing what I'm bad at all the time, I am stressed. Like I am an anxious person is something I deal with. And that plays into CrossFit, so very difficult for me to take that step back. And he was very crucial and kind of like literally stop. Like he has a way of saying things to me where I listen, typically just very direct. So I was
need that in your life.
I do need that in my life, which is why Max is also really great for me. But anyways, finally took time off at this point in moving and in my stage of CrossFit. Am realizing I need a different coach. I need something new, something needs to change kind of thing. So on that drive, I was kind of talking to Cooper, I didn't know very many coaches at this point. I hadn't been, even though I've been doing this for a while, I haven't been to any in-person comps. I haven't met anybody. So I really didn't know anyone. I'd been to Underdogs the year before 4 quarters, really liked them, but didn't, with like a training, they had too many females is the thing. I really like Justin. I think he's great, super smart, but he has a lot of females. And that would be really difficult to take me on and have me not be in person. Because I wanted to move to Miami. I wanted to train in Noah. I was so happy there. It seemed right for me. It felt very right. And I knew that I wouldn't get what I wanted out of that relationship if I moved there. And so it was kind of like, I don't know anyone else. And he was kind of like, what about TTT? Like, I know you really like Alexis and like they seem great. They seem like what you need. They're very analytical, like very smart. Like, I think that is kind of what you need. And so on the drive, we drove to Miami with Alex, and I drove from Kansas City, and on the way is Georgia. So on that drive, we ended up just like, Noah had texted Max for me. He was like, hey, will you chat with Anikha? I didn't realize he didn't give him any context. So I like texting Max, and Max is like, by the way, I have no idea what we're talking about. I was like, oh, yeah, kind of need a coach.
Yeah.
So it was just kind of funny. But anyways, I popped in, Max and I talked, got to know each other a bit, continued at the time because I couldn't train. We had time to like really make sure this was going to work. Cause I am a very, like when I do everything 100%. I wasn't going to just like try out this coach and then if it doesn't work, leave for another one and then try this and that.
Right.
Like I wanted someone that I was going to grow with and that I was going to stay with for a long time. Like that's what I like.
I think most people should listen to that.
Yeah.
It's so easy to bounce around because you don't see progress maybe right away, but it's like find someone and be loyal to them and you'll see progress that way.
Absolutely. And I mean, I learned that, again, credit to all of the times I have been crushed and the amount of time it has taken me to get to this point. I was not naturally like that has kind of taught me, which is great. In the end, it is good. In the moment, not so good.
Yes.
But that is, again, one of the reasons I feel like I'm able to do that. So that was what I wanted. And we both, I mean, he wanted to make sure of that too. I was also mentally in a terrible place when we met. Just like being injured. I had never been off for this long. I was scared I wasn't going to have a season. I had never been more stressed about my fitness level, just everything. I was moving countries. I had so much stress in my life. So it was rough, and he definitely took a chance on me for sure. He doesn't need me as an athlete. He has Noah and Travis and Linda. He didn't need to take me on, and he took that chance on me, which I'm so grateful for. And it has worked so far fantastically. And I feel like I've been able to trust him more than I have anyone else because he's been doing this for so long, and I feel I'm a very evidence-based person. And I like seeing, like I have trouble believing in things I can't see or trusting things I can't see. So it was very easy for me to trust him because I'm like, he has done this many times. Like I think Noah and Travis are so incredible that I'm like, well, like there's the evidence. So it was easy for me to trust him, which is a big thing for me.
With that said, it still means that you need to see progress pretty soon, right? For most people. And I assume, I haven't seen most of your training, only pieces, right? But I assume, especially as you get back knowing how Max writes, oftentimes it's less than you think you need. And there are a lot of movement components, like learning how to rewire your body so that you can move more efficiently. So it's not necessarily like, you see a lot of programs, it's just always hard CrossFit. Yeah. That's what you do all the time. Was that different for you going into a program that is more focused on making sure that you get better, your back is 100%, you move well before you get to the hard stuff?
Wildly so. I have always trained at very high volume. Or at least the past couple of years, not when I was super young, we did that smartly, but in the past couple of years, because it was always just like, you just need to get fitter. Yeah. We just did a lot of CrossFit, a lot of conditioning. So we just did so much of that stuff. And it was very different to see, and it just a different style of programming, very, like, I don't want to say more intelligent, but like so much more sciencey, so many more specific percentages and specific, like just little things, damper changes, things that I had never played with before, So it was very different. It was a lot less at first, and that was terrifying.
Was that hard to get? Yeah. Was that hard to do?
It was very scary.
I feel like it's hard for everyone.
It is, absolutely.
And I get that too, because to your point, I think you and I are the same, and like you want to work on something you're bad at, and you are doing that, but it always seems like it's not quite enough.
Yes.
It's like, am I doing this enough?
Yes. It never felt like it was, I feel like, should I do like 10 more sets of this?
Right.
But I also, before I had moved, before I realized how injured I was, I got a lot of testing done. I did like the whole lactate threshold. I did my VO2. I did so many Wingate, like all those back home. And one of the things the guy had told us is like, I basically like, you can only get so much better I honestly didn't know anything about heart rate zones. I had no idea what zone 2, zone 3, I had no idea. That did not play into my training at all. And after I got that testing done, we kind of realized like, and this helped me with Max because I actually knew what he was talking about and it made more sense to me. But for me, 99% of the training I had done was all in zone 3. Everything was zone 3. My heart rate stayed in the same zone, no matter if it was conditioning, no matter what the movements were.
Right.
My heart was still in that zone, and it's very good at that zone. But higher and lower, basically did not touch. So learning that and being able to kind of recognize, like, if you do more sets, you're just going to be sitting in zone 3 for longer, and you're not actually getting fitter.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt like at Rogue, is that I felt like I was just like, not like, I just did not feel like I had gears. I was like, I have one speed and I have all the skills, but like these people are just kind of miles ahead of me. They have a speed gear and they have an endurance gear that I just don't have. I've got that mid-range stuff, but like, anyway, so that was learning that about myself scientifically, and seeing it was a lot easier for me to then process how he thought and how he programmed. And
so you can have that buy-in and then trust it
and understand what he was talking about. That was very crucial, because I think if not, I would have had to learn all these like different, like I just had no idea what any of that stuff meant. So it was good to kind of go into this relationship knowing that about myself, and then it was mildly easier for me to kind of trust.
So at this point, what are you guys working on now that you're, let's say like whenever you guys started into, let's talk about quarterfinals next.
Yeah.
What are the things that Max and you identified to work on and address before quarterfinals?
Before quarterfinals, it was just getting everything back. I had lost everything. And one of the nice things about myself as an athlete is I gained strength back pretty quickly, which is hilarious, because if you look at my quarterfinal scores, my worst score is the clean and jerk, which is so weird. I cleaned 185 as a 13-year-old, and the 185 clean and jerk was my worst workout. Hilarious. Anyways,
you still were moving pretty fast.
Yeah, though. I mean, that was hilarious. That was great for me. That made me really happy. I was actually thrilled that was my worst workout. But anyways, yeah, it was, so getting, until quarters, it was just getting everything back, getting my confidence back. It was also a lot of getting my brain right again, being able to be confident, not being so anxious, just being a better person again. Someone that people enjoy being around, not just being like so just getting more centered again as an athlete and as a person. That was the big focus. And it was just, getting everything back, getting the endurance back. We identified like obviously machines and running, two biggest things. That's for sure.
Right. Something you've been working on for 5 years now, right?
Exactly, for 5 years, but we're working on it differently now, which is good. I feel like, that made a big difference. But yeah, the same kind of things. It was also still like more strength work than I was used to, but I mean, I'm also not like, I'm not going to win the strength event, so you can always do more strength work. So it was just kind of getting everything back going into quarters. The open, it did not feel good. I did not feel like myself. I was just like, what is happening? It was a big confidence dip. And then somebody asked me the other day, like, what was your mindset going into quarters? And I was like, I don't remember. Like, that's a really good question. I think I just wanted to, this whole time, my mindset, since I've been injured, since starting with Max, since being injured, since being moved, has been like semis. Like, just think about semis. You don't need to be fit here. You don't need to be fit at point A or point B. It's point C. So for me, it was all I was thinking about was like, get fit for semis. You're peaking for semis. Don't get caught up. So even in quarters, I was like, I wanted to feel more confident coming out of it, but I was also thinking like, you don't need to be games level right now. You need to be games level at semis, and trying to trust that I will be. Yeah. So I was trying to go through quarters with kind of that mindset, and then it ended up going fantastically and fantastically.
Which 19 years old. Can you speak to some of our 30-year-olds, please?
Well, that's what I was going to say is like, that's such great advice for, most people aren't worried about semifinals because they're not going to make it, right? But wherever you're at in your season, like some people are just like, I just want to make the top 10%. Yes. So then their focus should be around the open. So this time of year, you need to think about all the things that you're bad at to get better at for the open next year, and so on and so forth. And I get it's hard to play the long game for most people, but the better you are at doing that, the better off you'll be in the season. And to your point, like you obviously, we'll talk about it, you crushed quarterfinals, but that wasn't the goal. The goal is like, hey, I just need to get through this so that I can peak for semifinals and then make the games. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think, honestly, this year was the first year that, I know last year, even though with the quarters thing, my goal was to be in a game spot at every single stage of the year. That is a stupid goal. Yeah. I shouldn't say. That's a harsh
It's unattainable for most people anyhow. But
I came 15th in the open, and then in quarters I was in the game spot. Well, with the score that didn't get submitted, would have been in a game spot again. But that was my goal, was like, I want to be in a game spot the whole year, and that is not sustainable. So it
also takes away from your ability to work on weaknesses the way that you need to.
For sure. And it was even like, like the year prior, we still were working on my weaknesses, but it was like mentally a pressure I do not need for that long out of the year. And that is taxing. As an anxious person, that is a taxing thing to have sitting on your shoulders, that you need to be at that level the whole year. So this was the first year, against my will. Honestly, it forced me to. I don't know if I would have had that mindset if my back had not forced me to take that step back. This was the first year that I was trying. I won't say a lot of things I say, and it's more of just like I'm trying to think this way. I am not always successful in thinking this way, but I am really trying to. So I really tried to be okay with not being games level at those two kind of stages.
I love that. And I feel like that probably freed you up to execute better in quarterfinals. Like I watched some of those workouts, and I mean, you crushed them, which obviously, what'd you finish? 6th overall or what?
Seventh
worldwide,
4th in North America.
Yeah. So like, I mean, if you're finishing in the top 10 in the world in quarterfinals, you're obviously extremely fit, but you had some freedom there to know like this isn't the time where I have to be at 100%, and it allows you to go out there and just like have some fun, enjoy the workouts, and to your point earlier, not have that anxious feeling the entire time.
Absolutely, yeah. It was kind of one of those things where it's like you can make mistakes and still move on to the next stage. I think I've learned this at in-person comps too. In Madrid, I bombed a couple workouts because I had so much pressure on myself.
Right.
And I learned that I can't do that, and it's still a battle. It's not, you don't just learn something and it's like,
yeah, exactly.
I am fixed. You know, like so
I wish though, right? Like that'd
honestly,
be so nice.
Man, the amount of mistakes I would have only made once that I have made about 17 times. But that is something that I have to remind myself of going into semis, is that pressure. I have to manage that. Got to manage that.
So what is the goal this year? What's the goal for semifinals, and then for the next couple of years? Like where are you at right now, and what's the long-term goal?
I mean, like my heart right now just wants to be like games. I don't care if I'm 11th. I don't care if I'm first. I want that ticket. I have fought for that for so long, and I have dreamed of that for so long. And this is the first year where like I feel like I'm getting out of the habit of just expecting things to go poorly. I'm trying so hard to get out of that. I feel like I'm trying to think of myself as a very new athlete. The girl that got me here has been so tough and has gotten through so much, but she can't drive anymore because, you know, she's going to keep making the same mistakes. So I'm trying to think of myself as a very new person who's going to do things differently. And that has allowed me to feel more confident and believe that I can. And that is how I'm trying to go into it.
This woman got bars over here.
So funny.
For some reason, when you said they can't take the wheel, I thought of that Carrie Underwood song.
Oh man,
that song.
Jesus,
I feel like we could just
why.
our Instagram could just be
That's so
Anikha
funny.
quotes for the rest of the month.
That's so
Jesus,
good.
take the wheel.
Things Anikha says, sometimes philosophical, sometimes the stupidest.
Hey, we'll take them both.
So funny.
Man.
But yeah, that's how I'm trying to think about them. I mean, the goal on paper is games. Just get to the games.
Let's get it.
But from how I'm going to goals that I can control within myself is execution. I want to execute well. That's something that I've struggled with just because of like my anxiety and getting caught up and rogue. I like ruined basically the whole competition for myself because I rode that emotional roller coaster of the weekend so hard that it zapped my adrenaline. Like first event, I came dead last because I couldn't do a muscle up on the log. My hands are too small. I got dead last.
Yeah.
I was crushed, like just demolished. Then I came like third on the next workout, smoked it. And then I was so high. And then we had one more workout for the day. And I literally was a zombie because I just ran out of adrenaline. Like I ran out of fuel. I had used the low and I had used the high and I was done. And I, again, just got crushed on that workout. I remember I started the Echo bike and I remember thinking, I was like, I'm cold. And I was like, oh,
That's a
no.
bad feeling. That bad feeling.
It's Friday Night Lights at the at the Rogue Invitational.
Yeah.
I'm next to like the best in the world. People are screaming and I'm like, I'm cold. Like that was a bad sign. So avoiding that as much as possible. And I will be, if I can execute and I can have a short memory, because I'm a fixer. When something goes wrong, I hyperfixate and I want to fix it. You know, I'm not, I struggle with just like letting things go. Like even yesterday, I was really disappointed, not really disappointed. I was disappointed in my sandbags on the run sandbag workout. Happier with my runs than I have been in a while, but I was really disappointed in how long the sandbags took. I was thinking about that in bed. And I was actually like, I was sitting up and I was like hyperfixating on the sandbags. And I was like, this is a great chance for you to practice like letting it go. Like you had a great workout to finish yesterday. You're going to have a great workout in the morning. Like let it go. Do not drain your emotions anymore.
Totally.
It's done.
I think the
you know?
trick there for people is you can dwell on that only if it's going to allow you to get better at that thing.
Exactly.
So like, okay, why did the sandbag take so long? What can I do to fix it?
Yes.
And then that's it. Like you
Yes.
let everything else go. I had a my head coach in college that always talked about like, don't live in the highs and lows. Basically exactly what you said, always be even keel. And I feel like that's easier said than done, for sure.
Absolutely.
But those that can do that, like those are the champions. You know, I think about all the people that are good at sport. They handle every distraction so well, and they can always stay focused on the ultimate goal that they have.
Absolutely. And that's, as it's some like just a personality trait of mine. I am an intense person, so like I have intense highs and I have intense lows. You like them, you know, like you want to live there, but so it is harder, I feel like, for me to be neutral. But that is something I'm going to try. So it's why I'm so happy I'm here this weekend and trying to do it like a real simulation and trying to think about it like that. Great practice for me because I haven't had a lot of in-person experiences up until this year, you know? So that's definitely going into it. Goals for what I can control, living in my body and not my brain. And that's a big one for me is I live in my brain too much. So I try to live in my body and not my brain. It's a very strange, I don't know where I saw that, but I always loved it. So I'm trying to, for semis weekend, live in my body and execute well and not ride the roller coaster. I don't have to. I don't have to ride that roller coaster.
Well, we're
I can
excited.
sit out.
Yeah, well, you got another workout.
I know. I was
going to
say we got to work
but
out.
I want
soon.
one more thing we got to ask. And what have you learned? What has been the biggest takeaways being a training partner with Noah now?
Oh,
Laugh a lot.
yeah. Laughter is the best medicine. Absolutely.
Did you have any thoughts of him before you met him, and then now that you are like in his gym?
I mean, honestly, I didn't know if he was actually that energetic. I didn't know if it was just something I saw on TV or like, cause I watched him on the documentaries on Netflix, like back in the day, you know, and I was like, is he just like this for the camera? Cause I know, like, I do know some people that are, and then I met him and I was like, no, he is literally like this. He is the best training partner I could possibly have because he digs me out of holes that I'll put myself in sometimes mentally. He keeps me lighthearted, which like I can get intense and I can get really hard on myself, and he keeps me positive. And that's the biggest thing for me. Like, I know how to push myself. He pushes me in workouts incredibly. He mollywops me all the time.
The mollywops.
Sounds like a dance move. From
Put
like
that on Instagram, Chris.
Sounds like a dance move from the 20s. Like the swing and the mollywop. But he like crushes me in workouts all the time. But I know how to push myself. Like, I can put myself in a hole in workouts any day, you know? But for me, being able to stay steady in training and be positive and believe in myself and just his mindset rubbing off on me that's been the biggest.
I don't want to make it a love fest for Noah, but I will, because I've heard people say that there's no way that that's genuine, but like he is like one of the most genuine people you'll ever meet. He's happy, encouraging. He's a hard worker. Like, you know what
here goes unsaid about Noah is because everyone will say that he's happy, he's encouraging, and he is all those things. But to me, what I find more impressive, and I've thought about this lately, is like, it's not that he's that. It's that he goes out of his way to do that. It's not like he's just defaults, wakes up, actively happy.
Oh,
like,
for sure.
It's the work that he puts in to be able to do that and be that for people that is so fucking impressive.
Absolutely.
That's like, hats off to that guy for being able to manage that, because that's a hard thing to do.
I hate it when I see negative comments.
Year.
It's so stupid.
I know.
But he is so genuine, and he does genuinely care about people. Like he'll ask you questions.
Absolutely.
And
he
wants to know
remembers
about you.
people's names.
For sure.
Just those little things that he actively tries to do. And it's also impressed me because I know he wasn't like that. We've talked about that. I know he wasn't like that as somebody like in his early 20s and like 19, like my age. Like he has, and like as we used to talk about this, like as a competitor, he hasn't always been even keeled, you know, like that is something he has worked on and gotten better at. And that's one of the most incredible things to me is that like he has like, he hasn't always been like that, you know, and
yeah, I almost feel like when people say that about him, it almost takes away, like as if he just wakes up that way. It's like, no, the impressive part is that he doesn't wake up that way.
Exactly.
And that he shows up.
I couldn't do it, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Well, I can't do it.
I know.
I'm like you. Like if I have a bad day, I'm like, man, leave me alone.
All right, we got to talk about one more person. Your roommate, Scene Bean.
Cena.
So most people don't know behind the scenes,
Fofina.
Cena works with us.
Well, what's that video I have on her phone? It's like, there's the little chili pepper, and it's like, how spicy is this one going to be? Cena, she comes in, like, slaps, and she's like, it's going to be a spicy
That's right behind
one.
you, Chili Willy.
Yeah.
She
Chili
dressed
Willy.
up like Chili Willy.
God, it was so funny.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite. But yeah, our people always like, they're like, we could never live with you because you guys just laugh all the time. We have a very fun apartment.
Nice.
All right, let's do some rapid fires.
All right,
we haven't done those in a while. This is the one that I always ask anybody that's new is if you could be anyone for a day, dead or alive, who would it be?
Be anyone?
Yeah. You're someone else for the day.
Elton John.
Elton John. Why is that?
Elton John, like 20 years ago.
Okay, wait. It's like,
Hold on. Favorite Elton John song?
retired old Elton John.
Your song.
Ooh, okay. Can I recommend one that most people just don't give enough love? Indian Sunrise. Or it might be Sunset. I think it's Sunrise.
Okay.
Oh man, that thing slaps.
Yeah,
I've
I
never heard of
haven't.
it.
I never got deep into Elton John, but like did go through an Elton John phase for
Yeah.
a bit.
And that whole album, Man Across the Water.
Yeah.
Madman
Elton John.
Across the Water.
Oh no, Ozzy Osbourne.
Ooh, that would be a wild one. I
just
thought
wanna
you
know.
would pick like some kind of metal
I
band.
don't know what
Yeah.
year
Yeah.
Ozzy.
The year he bit the bat
Oh,
head
God.
back.
that day.
You know, that was
Dang.
Ozzy was my
I
first
just wanna
concert.
know.
That was my first
Terrifying.
concert,
Man can't
Ozzy.
even talk no more, but he can still sing.
Well, that's funny. Is like if you ever got in a convo with Ozzy, you'd probably just be like, "Can you sing that for me?"
Yeah.
Because you can't understand what he's saying. But
very
if he
clear when
sings,
he
you're
sings
like,
it.
Oh my
"Got it."
God. Yeah, somebody like that. I just want to know.
All right. If you could have one superpower for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Flying.
That's a good one. I think I would fly too. I mean, think about how much easier it would be to get from PEI to Miami.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, you
that
get there
would
in like
just
20
be
minutes.
So fun too.
All right. If you could have one meal for the rest of your life, it's the only thing that you can eat, what would it be?
Maybe just the only thing though. Man,
Yeah,
I'd be
it's like
so
it's
fat, but
breakfast,
I don't care.
lunch, and dinner.
A cheese pizza, but with pesto and mozzarella drops.
I do like pesto, but it's heavy.
Nah, you just sprinkle on
A little
top,
bit.
just a little drizzle.
Have I asked you that before, Chris?
I don't know.
I
think it'd be
ribeye,
ribeye.
though.
Yeah, you and me both.
Or prime rib with mashed potatoes.
Oh, yes.
Prime rib with horseradish.
Wait, do they
and
do
mashed
that in
potatoes.
Canada?
Prime rib?
Is that a thing?
Yeah.
It is?
We got meat.
Yeah.
I know you got meat,
got
but
meat.
I thought prime rib was like a
An
southern
American
thing. I
No,
don't know.
prime rib's like it's just a cow.
I know what it is. All right. Last one. Favorite TV show or movie? Since we started the podcast with that, what's your? Let's just go
Favorite-
movie. Let's go movie.
Okay, movie.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know TV show
Ooh.
too.
Okay, TV show too.
I'm gonna
movie.
give a cluster. So Airplane, hilarious, love it. Do you guys know what Airplane
Yeah.
is? Okay, it's
I do
it's
not.
very
It's
old.
old school.
It is old, but it's so funny.
Yeah.
It's the origin of Don't Call Me Shirley.
Yeah.
That one and Hear No Evil, See No Evil with Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder. Oh my
Dang,
God,
I
you
haven't
go for
seen
the
that either.
classics, huh?
so funny. It's probably one of my favorites ever. Yeah, those are the easiest. I mean, they're like funny. There's definitely some better movies that I could pick, but if you asked me to just watch anything, that'd be that one. It's so good. It's so
And TV show?
I mean, big Office guy. Will rewatch The Office a million times.
Yeah.
Oh, Dexter. Dexter's my favorite
Dexter's
show
so
in the
good.
whole world.
I know. So, did you
Oh my
watch
God.
the
Oh,
whatever
yeah.
the final thing
Oh,
that they
yeah.
did?
I've watched all of them.
What did
at
you
least
think
6
about
times.
that though? Like I think I raised my expectations too high, and then I was a little disappointed at the
For
end.
New Blood, I feel
The
like
New
I
Blood.
shouldn't say how it ends in case
Well,
somebody
yeah,
watching
okay,
is
yeah,
like,
yeah,
But
fair.
I think they did it well. I think it's very poetic. I think that's how it had
Yes,
to end.
you're
had
right.
to
It
end
was
that way.
poetic.
But it had to. How else was it going to end? Like they had to.
That's fair.
the only way for it to end. You know?
That's
so
fair.
I
you
liked
just
it.
you just spoiled it.
Did you watch Breaking Bad?
No. So here's the thing. My parents watched Breaking Bad. First time I watched Dexter was with my parents. When they watched Breaking Bad when it first came out, I was kind of too young to like it or appreciate it. I did watch Better Call Saul with them though.
Oh, that's
I
my
know.
favorite.
Better Call Saul is the best.
Better
It's
Call
so
Saul is
good.
number 1 for sure.
Speaking
And
of which,
Dexter.
John Morant finally got a Nike commercial come out, and it's just a Better Call Saul. Like you could tell.
Is it really?
It better be the same director because they definitely are like.
I'll have to check it
They're
out.
like wanting to be Better Call
It's on
Saul.
YouTube, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll look at it after this.
Yeah, that Better Call Saul was good. I still like Dexter more. I love
No.
Dexter. I'm so attached
Man
to those
said no.
characters. Man said
I agree with you. Like they're close, but Better Call. You need to watch Breaking Bad and
Probably,
then go and
and
watch
then I
Better
might be
Call
more
Saul after.
attached
And it's
to-
just,
yeah.
I think that's what it was. Is like I had just watched Breaking Bad, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden heard about Better Call Saul, got into that, and just like
Yeah.
fell in love with the characters
that's
even
true.
more.
Yeah, no, I love Dexter. I'm so attached to all of those characters. It's the best.
Yeah, I agree. All right, go do your other workout. Thanks
Oh,
for coming
gosh,
on.
I better have time to snack.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. That was fun, guys.
Thank you.
That was great.
How long was
You
that?
need
Oh,
to
my
watch
ears.
Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I know. I
It's
like.
it's
Oh, my legs.
so good.
My legs. I better have time.